And now to the incredible story of a retired Glendale deputy fire chief who reconnected almost 3 decades later with someone he helped save. 12 News journalist Colleen Sikora shares how that now nurse is helping save his life. Take a look.
It's always right there.
Far away from the fires he spent nearly 4 decades fighting.
I used to hate to see needles go into skin.
Chuck Montgomery retired from Glendale Fire Department.
I just feel like that exposure planted the seeds for to come back and haunt me someday.
Still fighting.
It's the same way you fight a fire, right? You know, you go there and you don't like, oh, I think we'll just pass on this one. You know, you have to formulate a plan and attack it.
The battle, stage 3 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
This is just a fire that's inside of me that's needing to be extinguished one bag at a time. Summer and chemo don't really go well.
It's at City of Hope near Tatum and Shea where Chuck goes for chemotherapy infusions and where Christy Lesnow, an RN, works.
Good, not too tight.
Even here.
I just struck up a conversation with a fellow firefighter sitting next to me.
In the storms of life, moments of connection.
After she said, "You were a fireman too?" And I said, "Yeah."
Always possible.
Then I asked which department he worked for, and he said Glendale. And I said, "Do you know a gentleman named Raleigh?" And he said, "Yeah, he was my driver, engineer." And I was like, "Really?" I said, "Raleigh was one of the guys that saved my life." I said, "Do you know a Chuck?" And I'll never forget, he took his hat off and he goes, "I'm Chuck." And I was like, no way.
28 years ago, come September, at 51st Avenue in Beardsley, Christy says she and her mom were hit by a drunk driver.
Because I had my seatbelt on, I went out the window through here, but I went back in. I remember looking over at my mom, who was completely unconscious. I was walking and I could feel this warmness just go down my throat. And that's when I felt the opening cut, because it was cut like from there to there.
Chuck and Raleigh responded.
They basically saved both of our lives. They gave me that comfort and reassurance.
Reconnection 28 years later.
You really don't run into patients that were as severely injured as her and her mom, because oftentimes they don't make it.
It was great to see him and, you know, be able to thank him again and let him know what kind of impact he's made on my life and my mom's life.
Life now.
I think it's ironic.
Patient became part of care team. As part of care team became patient.
The fluids are running into me, but you know, having started thousands of those on other people, it feels full circle.
From the past to a fighting chance.
He's going to have a really high chance of putting this into a remission.
For the future.
We have a grandson. I think about raising him as well, and hopefully someday getting to see him be a firefighter.
Colleen Sikora, 12 News.